no, this is not right. You have to dig deeper. You have to go deeper because actually acting is living. People don't understand. I mean, when I did Kim, it took me a long time to get out of Kim Reese when we left.
Yeah.
I was still Kim. I couldn't get out. It was just that embedded because I put my interest in it. I invested in her. I invested in that girl. And so it took me about a year to get out of it. So everybody thinks that acting is wonderful and cute. It's hard. It's hard work. But if you're destined for it, the hard work pays off.
Yeah.
Right. So you will say that it could be true. Like I think it was Heath Ledger.
Of the freedom of speech,
The other side of the non-disclosure agreements, the agreements.
Say that it could be true. Like I think it was Heath Ledger. He got so much into the character, that you can, just
you can really
do crazy things. Yeah, so that's obviously true.
Yeah, you can't. Sometimes you can't come back.
Whew. You talked about Kim, and to us, I mean, it was when you look at the Hillman and you look at the characters as a young kid, obviously going from the Cosby Show and then seeing a different world, watching Denise going to Hillman College, life from there. We had Kadeem Hardison on, and we talked a little bit about it about a year ago now. Such an awesome conversation.
He's amazing.
Have you on is also such an honor because we fell in love with your character as well. Talk about the dynamic. Did you guys know at the time what impact you were making within Black culture on screen as these young Black students going through life, trying to attain more?
No idea. We were gypsies, we were actors and going from gig to gig. And I think for me, I think it's a blessing that we did not have social media back then because it was more pure, and people didn't have the time really to pick at you because there was nothing to pick at. So we didn't have that social media thing. And so I think that's what really made us who we are. And as a collective, a group, as a different world, because we didn't have anybody in our ear. We didn't have anybody pinging us saying, your hair looks bad, or you're doing this, or you're messing around with this one, or you're messing around with this one. It's that culture's crazy to us. And so we had no idea. And I think that if I would have known, I probably would have screwed it up because I would have been nervous saying, I'm responsible, for all of these kids going to school. I had no idea until later on that, the rate, the college rate went up. I didn't know.
Yeah. Right. And I heard also, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Felicia Rashad was telling the story, and she said that she was, brought in to watch the first season. So my first question would be, was the first season that much of a disaster that she had to come in? And I heard she reported back to Bill Cosby. And that's when they had Debbie Allen come in and kind of, change things up for that second season because the first season was kind of all over the place. And
I think for me, I just think that they needed some Black people in to write for Black people. Bottom line.
Right.
Bottom line. I mean, I'm not taking away from the writers that are not Black, but that experience, the HBCU, Debbie Allen, that's her. She embodies it. And so when she came on, I mean, and I'm gonna tell you something. She's a tough cookie. To this day, I'm scared to death of her. She taught me a lot of discipline because she had no tolerance for nonsense, none.
To the best of your knowledge, why weren't Black producers and Black writers introduced to that show to begin with?
Something to be honest, I don't know. I'm thinking that maybe the network had a lot to do with it because they had a strong hold on us. I just remember, the writers just panicking, at times. And so I think it was the network. I think it was because we had Black writers, but we had white writers as well. But as far as directing, I think the directing wise, Debbie was the best choice for us. What they did, to be honest, for me, I went in as an actor. It was a gig. And so I stayed away from whatever, I don't even know. I mean, things are coming out today. I'm like, what happened? Because I was focused. I was focused on that was my gig. And then when I went home, I went home. And so, yeah. And so I really can't, I'll be honest. I really can't say. I can't.
Right.
Thank you.
Now around this time, the Magic Johnson, he announced that he had AIDS, and you guys are one of the first shows that actually, dealt with AIDS on your show and were very educational about it to raise up the awareness of the people. Talk about that, and not only that topic, but a lot of other topics you guys tackling on the show to help with everything going on in the world.
Yeah, we tackled a lot of issues. The AIDS show was very dear to us because a lot of our friends just at that time were like dropping. Dropping. I mean, to the point where it became the norm, and so it was important for us to introduce AIDS again. But once again, we're dealing with the same issues now.
Yeah.
Which is disturbing to me. It's the same issues. It's not, I mean, that's 30 years ago. 30 years ago. And we're still dealing with the same racism, the AIDS issue. I mean, we're dealing with all that same crap. And I don't understand. I get frustrated sometimes because I know that it takes us talking about it to make people realize that we're still in a rut, and we have to get out of this rut. But I think with everything happening with the Me Too, all this stuff, I think that people are becoming aware. But what scares me is you get aware and then everything becomes normal and then you go back to status quo.
Yeah.
I don't know how much time we got, but I'm going to want to go back to a different world and life after that. You said earlier in the conversation, it took you a year to get out of that Kim kind of role.
Right.
What was life like during that year? And how was that once the show ended?
It was crazy because I was married at the time. So poor baby. I mean, waking up to Kim every day is, no joke. So I can understand. It was difficult. It was difficult because it was ingrained in me. I mean, Kim was real to me. And with acting, you have to take a seat. Your body has to take a seat. We just take over the body. It's a possession. It's like you get the Holy Spirit, and you're at the church, and you don't get the Holy Spirit, somebody else does. It's like because they're empty, and you're full, and God can't come in when you're full, and that's exactly what acting is. You have to take a back seat, and and let that character come to life and use your body. And once you do that, you know who does that amazing? Viola Davis. Oof, man, I can see her transitions. I can just see it.
Well, like character.
Oh yeah, all of them. I mean,
Wow.
everything she does is just amazing to me. But she's, it's technique, and she knows. I mean, she's trained. She's a trained actor. But after a while, after a while, not dealing and not going to the set and stuff, it wears off. And then it's so funny because it wears off. Because then I came old again because I was playing 18 at the time, and I was 29 going on 30.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it was hard to go back to being an adult.
Right. Talk about your acting school. I think out in Houston. Talk about that. Yeah.
Actually, I came down here, and God told me to come down because I believe this is going to be the next entertainment sect because Atlanta's busting at the seams, and Houston is here, and they're doing great things here. I think 50 Cent is here. He's down here mingling, trying to make things happen down here. And so a lot of people are coming down here. And I knew it. And I thought, well, God told me to do this, is that when everybody comes down, why not teach these divas technique? So when they do come down, they can compete. And so they don't have to bring people in. They can just use the talent here.
That's a great thing. Great thing.
Absolutely. So get a little deeper into that. Is that kind of pertaining to the projects that you're doing and offering to the people? Like talk about.
Yeah. So what I do actually, the reason why I did the school too, is I taught them because I want to use them, because I want to build a team. In order to build a team, you got to teach them. And so what we did was our first film is called Changes, which is going to be distributed with Homestead Entertainment. They're all my actors that I trained. So, when they're trained, you have no problem, which is great. Everybody stays in their lane. And so that's what I'm doing. And my next one's called The Bayou Chronicles, which are going to be taping real soon. And it's It's like the Twilight Zone meets Black Mirror in the Bayou.
Damn.
Yeah.
Hollywood. Let's transition.
Hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, hip
Bars is back.
hip hop,
Sam
hip
Ant.
hop,
Oh God.
hop,
What's
hip
up with you?
hop.
I done watched them niggas do interview after interview. They not culture vultures. The culture something they been into. So if you never gave them a view, I recommend you do. Cause when they question guests, they message is not subliminal. It don't matter if you a rookie.